this is about the Marine. I think it was 2 months ago. He's going to be in court today, but he was around the border, and he accidentally ended up crossing the border. And I know everybody's going to say, well, how do you end up in Mexico by mistake? Well, let me ask you a question. Have you ever been in a city and missed the last exit, and you end up having to go over a bridge and pay the toll, or a highway where there's a toll booth, and you end up, missing the exit, then you have to go pay the toll? It's like you just walk up to a border that nobody's there. You miss your last exit, and you're all of a sudden stuck in traffic. I know it's happened to me a lot. I can tell you it's happened to me a lot of times. So here you have a United States Marine traveling with, and this is the key point here, 3 registered handguns. Doesn't even want to go to Mexico. Ends up in Mexico by mistake, and this is 2 months ago. And this story, it bothers me so much because it shouldn't even be a story. He should have never been arrested, number one. Number two, he should have been out the next day. And he's been in a Mexican prison now for 2 months, and he's been shackled, and he's supposed to appear in court today. And, of course, the Mexican government is not allowing the media to be let in. Now, John Kerry, the Secretary of State, who is completely unqualified to be Secretary of State, but probably the greatest Wall Street insider trader in the history of the world. So John Kerry last week, when he was meeting with Mexican officials, he said, well, the subject came up, and that was the statement that he released. The subject came up. Do you have any idea how unacceptable that is and how embarrassing this is? That either, one, they're allowing this to happen, or two, how completely incompetent you are. Because you know how quick you could get him back? And the balls of the Mexican government to sit there and exploit this soldier, that's exactly what they're doing. They know that this is becoming a media story. They love to hold him. And they know the fact that, by blacking out the media, it's going to get even more and more attention. But we give this country hundreds of millions of dollars in foreign aid every single year. Look it up over the last 10 years. $270 million this year, 300 and some million this year. Not to mention all the illegal aliens that just cross the border every year. Not to mention all the drugs and criminal drug gangs that come right through Mexico every single year. Not to mention how many Mexican citizens living in Mexico still one way or another are somehow collecting social welfare from this country. How that's possible, I have no idea. And John Kerry's response is, well, the discussion came up. It's real simple. You could have him back by the end of the day. Cut the funding off. Stop the checks. Quit supplying them with foreign aid. You'd have them back in 60 minutes. The balls of this government. After all that we do, the problems that the Mexican border creates for the country because of a corrupt Mexican government, and then the money that we give them on top of that, and they have the balls to hold a United States Marine in jail for 2 months because he showed up at the border where he wasn't even trying to enter the country with registered handguns.